Hey guys, this is Shakti from Around the Wicket, where we not only speak about the game, but we try to learn more about the humans behind our sport. And today I'm joined by the inspirational and impressive Vishal Yadav, who is the founder of the platform Female Cricket, first platform that dedicates all its content with women's cricket. Vishal has worked tirelessly to grow the game, a women's game, in India as well as across the world. He also facilitates a female cricket academy to provide young female cricketers with the opportunity to play the game they love, as well as take on the challenges on and off the field. So, Vishal, thank you so much, man, for joining me on Around the Wicket.
Thank you so much, Shakti, for that detailed introduction. I think you've covered everything about my journey.
So we shouldn't do the interview anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Tell us about how things are at the moment in India. We had a little chat. Things are not looking too rosy, but any light at the end of the tunnel?
So, of course, the situation at the moment due to COVID-19 is not very good, I would say. Particularly the two prime cities in India, Mumbai and Delhi, are suffering a lot. Also because the population in these two cities is quite high, so it's very challenging for the government as well to keep a control. Uh, and also the lockdowns were lifted in last 2 weeks, and the numbers have just then have gone up. Just waiting for the lockdown to resume again, only then I think the situation will be brought under control.
Yeah,
So
hard
it's not
balance with
very good at the moment.
health and economy.
Yeah, correct. True. And
Tell us about your. Sorry.
sports industry in particularly has taken a huge hit.
Yes, and yourself. We'll talk about the impacts of COVID with female cricket.
Yeah.
But tell us about yourself before you started this platform, where you were raised. How you grew up, and the education you took before you started this platform.
Yeah, so I was raised in Mumbai. That's where I did my schooling, my college. All my education was in Mumbai. Again, I was a cricket fanatic from my early childhood. Wanted to get into the professional circuit. Wanted to be a cricket player. But then I was also good with studies, so my parents told me that you got to first focus with the studies first, and later, in case if you get time, you could give it to cricket. But the primary focus has to be on academics.
Yeah.
I completed my boards, my 10th, my 12th, and after that it was like too late. There's no going back to cricket. Once you are above 16, above 18.
Yeah.
And Mumbai cricket is also very competitive, as you may know. Forget about Indian cricket. Mumbai cricket has got so many talents. So if you have to make it to that level, you have to start early as soon as possible. So by this time, I realized that my chances of playing cricket, the professional cricket, was over. So I started thinking of ways that I could probably be connected with the sport.
Mm.
And after I completed my graduation, there were thoughts in my mind that whether should I take up a corporate job or do something around the sport. But then I had no clue. I had no idea what to exactly do in cricket, because I had no prior coaching. I had no cricket experience as such. So it was again very challenging. So I started interacting with a lot of cricket players. The idea was very simple: to talk to them about their cricket culture, know if they have got any opportunities that probably I could take up.
Yeah.
And I realized that there's huge cricket outside India, but we, in my friend circle, in fact, we were always talking about Indian cricket, Australian cricket, New Zealand cricket, Pakistan cricket. And one day I was just surfing on the internet, and I came to know about ICC. And when I went to this website, I also got to know that there are over 104, 105 countries which play cricket. And that sort of was a turning point for me. And it made me realize that there are so many countries which play cricket, but
Yeah.
then we usually cater to only the top 10 test playing nations, and nobody talks about the other countries.
Yeah.
And that was basically a revelation for me. And I thought maybe I should do something about it. I should start talking about these associate and affiliate, as ICC have categorized them. So it all started by making a list of those countries which plays cricket, and then I started looking out for cricket players on
Mm.
Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and sort of finding out ways in order to interact with them and give them a platform where they could share their cricket culture, their cricket journey.
So
This is how.
when did female cricket come about, and when did you decide that you want to follow this niche of female cricket?
Yeah, correct. So while I was in interviewing and interacting with a lot of these cricketers, I also had a privilege of talking to a lot of female players in these associate and
Mm.
affiliate countries. A lot of female cricketers from African continent, from European continent, and also from South American continent. I got in touch with them, and to my surprise, what I found out was that women cricket in these countries, in these associate and affiliate nations, were way more popular than the men's
Yeah,
cricket.
yeah,
And that was basically, I thought maybe, if women cricket is so popular in these associate and affiliate countries, why is the media not covering it? Why is nobody talking about it? And I also thought, what about the 10 test playing nations? What about their women's cricket? And back then, I had no idea about the Indian cricket team, the Indian women's cricket team. Uh, I hardly knew a couple of players, including Mithali Raj, Jhulan Goswami, who like are the legends of Indian cricket,
mm,
who
mm.
have been there since a very long time. And I thought, instead of going to associate and affiliate nations first, let me first concentrate and increase my knowledge, increase my depth about these countries, the Indian, Australian, Pakistan women's cricket team. And my knowledge honestly was like blank, it was zero. And I thought, this is a niche, this is something which people needs to know. And for me to tell them, firstly, I need to know.
Yeah,
So I started my research around this, and this sort of led to the idea of opening a platform, of starting this platform. Luckily the domain was available, femalecricket.com. So that is the first thing which you do, right? Once you
yeah,
come up with the name,
yeah,
you look out
exactly.
for. So I did that, and to my fortune, the domain was available the very next day. I got it booked, and the idea was very simple, to have a website, interact with these cricketers, bring out their stories, and put it on this platform,
Yeah.
and have a platform which is solely dedicated to women's cricket. This is how it all
I was going to
began.
ask you, what are some of the challenges you have faced with female cricket? You interestingly, you talked about how the popularity of the game, even in India, which is cricket mad country, um, only the popularity of women's cricket has started rising within the last 5 to 10 years. I'd say probably more 5 years than 10 years.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what are some of the challenges of the game involving women in India?
Again, so there are challenges at different verticals. One is that you're talking about the challenges with my journey, or in general, you want me to tell you about the challenges that females
In
face?
general, firstly, and then you can tell me your challenges with female cricket.
So in general, the biggest challenge is that the matches were not televised back in 1718. The matches were not televised. Although women started playing cricket back in 1973. That's when they had their first World Cup.
Hmm.
Also, India reached the finals of World Cup in 2005, but the matches were not televised. 2009 there was a World Cup. India did well. 2013 was a World Cup. 2017 was when media started covering a lot of these women cricket matches, and also it was a massive tournament. It was well planned, well organized.
Yeah,
Social media was very popular back then, so that sort of, I think, played a huge role in giving women's cricket the momentum it deserves. But challenges at the ground level are still there, and it's huge. Because the matches were not televised, parents did not know if this particular industry has solid profession in itself.
yeah, yeah,
So they would not let their daughters play cricket. But the world has seen that after Kapil Dev lifted World Cup in 1983, people in India knew that men's cricket has a viable profession, is a viable profession, and people can actually make a career out of it. But women's cricket, there was no such popularity. There was not much awareness. Parents did not know, and therefore they did not allow their daughters to pursue cricket.
Hmm.
Only a handful of parents who came from that background, or who saw Mithali Raj and Julan Goswami play, or Anjum Chopra for that matter, in the early days, was sort of got their daughters enrolled in the cricket academies. But otherwise, I think it's all, it was an unorganized ecosystem, I would say. But now things have started coming back in shape, and with media, and BCCI, of course, is doing a lot in, and of course ICC, in sort of promoting it and giving it the recognition it deserves. So those
And
are the challenges I would
yeah,
say.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, challenges for yourself.
Challenges for myself was one, because like I said, the matches were not televised, so I did not know much about women's cricket. The reason why my interest in cricket grew, or maybe the reason why your interest in cricket grew probably is because you watched cricketers playing it on TV, or probably in the stadiums. I grew up watching Sachin Tendulkar, MS Dhoni, and now Virat Kohli, of course. And that is when you see, that this particular sport, it brings together so many people. 2011, the World Cup was, I would say, it was a game-changing moment, because that was when I saw the entire country, the entire India coming together and celebrating this win, and it was massive, right? Uh, so, so basically, again, boys and parents, they also saw that cricket is so popular. It has got name, it has got fame, it has money involved. It can be a solid profession. It can be a solid career option. But in our case, the first challenge was to sort of educate people and create that awareness. And in order to do that, we needed solid information. We needed resources. We needed data. But there's only little we can do if the matches are not televised. We
Yeah.
can, of course, tell that women's cricket started way back in 1973. That India reached the World Cups in 2005. But in order to prove that, we got to have the visuals. Only then, the people in tier two, tier three cities would sort of agree to that, and also be confident enough in sending their daughters, now you should also go and pursue cricket, and sort of make a profession in it. So again, primarily the challenges were around in educating people and creating that awareness. uh, After that, I think, after the 2017 World Cup, things have now started to normalize, and we did not face a lot of those challenges, but initially they were.
Yeah. Obviously, through COVID, you've probably got some challenges, with the game not happening and whatnot. Has it impacted much with female cricket?
You're talking about the current times due
Yeah,
to the
current
COVID?
times, COVID. Yes, yeah, that's right.
Of course, it has impacted us in a lot of ways. One, of course, because the matches are not televised, so there's not much, or there's not enough information out there to put it out on social media. Now, if you see, the content strategies have completely changed. Previously, we were only talking about the upcoming matches and the ongoing matches. And in bits and pieces, we would bring the facts, or some
Yeah.
rewinds of the previous games. But now, because there's nothing happening, we are, in the content space, are also struggling to sort of create that content of what
Mm.
exactly do we put out there in order to keep the fans engaged today. Because luckily, in our case, we have got a huge digital presence today, including
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Now the challenge is, how do we entertain and how do we keep them engaged on the digital platforms? So, and of course, apart from the content space, the other challenge is that our academy, which we run in Mumbai,
Mm.
the Female Cricket Academy, is also shut since last, what, four months now. And summer is the season. Summer is a time in India, is basically from March to May. You have your summer vacations. All the colleges and the schools are shut, and this is when all the girls, they try out cricket for the
Mm.
very first
Mm.
time. And in the summers, we usually have around 50 to 60 girls coming and training at the academy. But this time, there's nothing. Uh, there's not much that we can do because of COVID-19. Things are shut.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is another challenge, or that is another setback that we all are put
Tell
into.
us,
Cannot
tell
overcome.
us, tell us about the academy and how important it is for the community there.
It is very important, I would say. See, anything and everything which impacts women's cricket at the grassroots level today, I think it's super important. Be it with the academy model, or be it with a model where you engage a lot of these school girls or a lot of these college girls to come out there and try cricket for the very first time. Our idea of starting this academy was very simple. We were doing enough, we were doing good on the social or on the digital front, but we realized that in order for cricket to actually develop, and in order for cricket to actually go to the next level, these girls have to go out there
Hmm.
and play cricket in order to improve their cricket, right? Um, so the idea was simple with the academy, of course, to give a platform to these girls where they could come down and start playing cricket. And again, so this is one academy. This is only one center which we have got at the moment. But then the plan is to have more such platforms
Yeah.
within the country where girls could come and start practicing and start playing.
You
Because
must have.
we all have seen that these the tier 2 and tier 3 cities of India, it holds so much of potential. There are so many young talents who are waiting to be discovered.
How
You
how
must
many
have seen.
girls? How many girls are in the academy at the moment?
So we have, on an average, we have 35 to 40 girls at the academy training. In February, in fact, when we decided to shut down the academy, by then we had 30 girls practicing.
Nice. You must have been, proud about the. I mean, not really happy because India didn't perform that well in the final, but must have been proud to see how many people actually gathered at the MCG to support
True,
the women's game.
precisely.
How was that? You were supposed to come to Australia. Unfortunately,
Yes,
circumstances
yes,
didn't lead
yeah,
you to come in.
yeah.
But how was that experience watching that?
It was surreal. I can go on and on talking about this particular tournament and the way it sort of changed the mindset, and it brought a revolution in this women's cricket landscape. It was massive. Yes, India did not win that match, the final match, but to see 86,174 people turn out at MCG and support women's cricket, that sort of brings me immense pleasure.
Hmm.
And nothing can beat that. Yes, had India won that match, that would have been a cherry on the cake. But even if they did not win, I'm sure they did inspire and encourage a lot of young girls back in India. And now, because now, had the COVID-19 not been in picture,
Yeah.
we probably would have seen so many young girls turning up at the stadiums and starting cricket and playing cricket for the first time. Uh, yeah, it was massive. It was huge.
One of the biggest words that gets thrown out there in cricket, especially in India nowadays, is fitness. The word fitness, and the fitness
True,
culture is changing a lot in India, not just
true,
with the men, but with the females as well. Do you
true.
think that fitness has played a huge part in terms of the success of the Indian women's cricket team?
Absolutely, without a doubt. Today, the number of matches have increased. If you see, at the domestic level, at the international level, the number of games that these girls play has increased manifolds. And in
Hmm.
order to cope up with those challenges, in order to be ready for those challenges and for the matches, you've got to be fit. You've got to be super fit. And I think Australia, England have always propagated this message that if you're fit, if you're physically and mentally fit at the ground, you can win it from any situation.
Yeah.
And a lot of credits and a lot of kudos to these girls who have sort of made fitness a trend today, because now even the Indian girls have joined in. They have started to invest a lot of time in fitness sessions.
Yeah.
The coaches and trainers have started taking a huge interest in this particular department. And with the game changing, with a lot of focus on T20 these days, which is super fast, you have to be on your toes, be it with the mental aspect, be it with the fitness aspect, because one moment and the game is out of
Yeah.
your zone. So in order to be like at their present mentally and physically fit, you got to invest a lot of time in fitness.
Yeah.
And luckily it has helped not just for Indian cricket, but it has helped each and every continent that has tried and incorporated this particular aspect in their training.
Now, one of the exciting parts for me, Vishal, watching female cricket is the guests that you are bringing in recently, whether it's past Indian players or the current Indian women's cricketers. You got to
Yeah,
interview Raj, sorry, recently as well.
yeah,
Legend of the
yeah.
game, an inspiration to a lot of women, not just in India. Tell us about that experience, and what was the biggest takeaway listening or sharing her stories.
So I have been, I would say, privileged to sort of interview a lot of these cricketers, including Mithali Raj, for our female cricket podcast. One is that they have achieved so many things in their career, almost 20 years long cricket career. Talking about Mithali Raj, but she is still so humble and she's so very polite when it comes to sharing her cricket journey, and when it comes to talking to youngsters who are new to the side. And it's not just me, a lot of these cricketers who I speak to, a lot of the younger generations, and they always have a very common thing to share, which is the senior players are very welcoming, including Mithali Raj and Julian Goswami, and that sort of makes you feel at home. And when you give that option to the younger cricketers, you can actually bring the best out of these cricketers.
Mm, mm,
So one of course the biggest takeaways is that no matter where you are, no matter what success and what achievements you have made, you got to be humble in each and every situation. So that is the biggest takeaway from the conversation that I had with Mithali Raj. Apart from that, the struggles that they have been through, they never complained because they were all in for the passion of this game. There are so many incidences that she has discussed. I'm not sure if you had heard the
mm.
podcast, but please do, because there are so many instances where she has mentioned that they used to travel with unreserved trains. There were not proper 3-star or 5-star hotels back then. They were put in dormitories, and one room basically had 7 to 8 cricket players staying in. With so many challenges, with still they stuck there and they did not complain about anything and put their heads down, and they kept on playing and winning the matches for India.
Yeah.
2005 we reached the finals, we did not win, but still there was no media coverage back then. But still that did not deter the girls from following for following the game which they're so passionate about. So again, there's so many things to learn from their journey, and I can go on and on. But uh, one thing is that these cricketers, the stories that they share, gives me a lot of confidence that there must be so many other cricketers who are out there waiting to be discovered, and if given the right opportunities, probably they could go out and
Yeah.
represent their country one fine day.
Very inspiring listening to everything. From cricketers yourself as well, you can see the passion, that you have for women's cricket. What should we expect from female cricket in the next few months? Anything exciting coming up and lined up for us?
Uh, so one is considering the COVID-19 in mind, which is going to stay with us for at least 6 months, 1 year or so. We'll be experimenting a lot with our content. We'll try and have a lot more episodes on female cricket podcast, because that is something which people have enjoyed so far. We have
Mm,
got very interesting guests lined up for the future podcast. So one thing is that we want to work on that, because people have shown us good response on that. Secondly is we also want to have a lot of contests and quizzes, because this will help in two ways. One is it will increase the knowledge about women's cricket in general, about the audience, and also it will give us a channel, a way through interact and speak to a lot of these followers that we have. So it's a win-win situation. So
yeah.
again, this is something which we are thinking about. And honestly, I haven't planned what is going to happen after 6 months. I'm just hoping for COVID-19 for the for the corona thing to go down, the cricket practices to resume soon, and once they do, we want to go back to the academy, have more such centers, and start playing and start nurturing these young talents.
Excellent, Vishal. I've got 10 rapid fire questions that I have to throw at you.
Okay.
Who is your current favorite female cricketer?
Current favorite, I think it has to be Ellie Perry.
If you had to invite three cricketers over for dinner, who would they be?
Of course, Mithali Raj for sure. Smriti Mandhana, so that I get both the perspectives. Somebody who has played so much of cricket and somebody who is very new but still is a role model for so many cricketers.
Mhm.
And thirdly, I would love to have Meg Lanning and
Australia.
talk to her about the way she captains, the way she leads, and with so many superstars in her side, how does she maintain her calm and what exactly goes behind in making such a strong and powerful team that
Yeah.
Australia is.
Very competitive Magdalene, and that's what contributes to her
True.
success as well. So
Correct.
what would the cuisine be in that dinner?
It depends on what they like.
Spicy
Mithali Raj
curry.
in the Mithali Raj in the podcast has revealed that she would love to have idlis. So I'll I'll try and have idlis with different varieties of chutney.
You
I know
can
what
you can you can invite me too as well because I'm South Indian, so I'll bring the Italy's. No worries.
come in, man.
One motto you live by, Vishal. One motto you live by.
Well, it keeps on changing, to be very honest. But one thing which has stayed with me is do what you love and love what you do. I think that is something which has brought me from being into corporate job to now being in a space where I'm following my dreams and doing what I love. Doing what I love.
Absolutely. Yeah. What's your favorite cricketing moment till now?
It has to be the 2017 semi-finals when Harmanpreet Kaur hit 171 against Australia,
Yeah.
and the situation that she was in, and the entire Indian team was in. It couldn't have been a better situation than that for Harmanpreet Kaur to come out and hit those 171. It was
Yeah.
priceless. It was priceless.
Absolutely. Your favorite movie?
There are many. There are many. In terms of sports movies you're talking about, or
Anything.
in general?
Anything that you've watched. What sticks to your mind the most?
Uh, have you seen Chak De India?
Yeah. Shah Rukh Khan.
I think Shah Rukh Khan. Yeah, I think that movie is special.
Yeah. Your favorite pastime habit?
Pastime habit is uh, scrolling Instagrams and scrolling Twitter for content.
Your inspiration growing up?
Inspiration growing up has to be Sachin Tendulkar for sure. But then when I saw Dhoni, MS Dhoni come into picture, and when 2007 World Cup for us and 2011, uh, I think he still is my inspiration. So
Yeah.
initially it started with Sachin Tendulkar, but then MS Dhoni I think has been my inspiration till date. Yeah.
One word that defines you, Vishal.
Uh, a dreamer.
Who do you think will win the 50 over World Cup if it does go ahead next year?
I think it's going to be either Australia or India.
Maybe another final like we saw in Melbourne.
That would be fantastic.
Hopefully the other way around the result, right? If
Yeah.
you were not involved in cricket, what would you be doing just right now?
Are doing something or the other in the startup space. Maybe some other product. But I do like to work on my own terms. I do enjoy the process of creating something of my own. I really love that. So if
Yeah.
not female cricket, probably I would have created something else and have chased that for sure.
Thank you very much, Vishal, for joining me on Around the Wicket. Inspiring because as a content creator myself, I look up to yourself and the female cricket platform. I appreciate all the work that you guys do, and I'm pretty sure all the female cricketers out there appreciate what you have done. You know, anyone who is coming up, young female cricketers, if you want to reach out to Vishal, please feel free to do so. All the best. Hopefully, this COVID situation eases up for you guys, so you can get back into providing some outstanding content for all of us, Vishal. Thank you
Correct.
once again, man. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shakti, for the wonderful chat.